Hey, it's Bernadette. Welcome, welcome. So today we're going to talk about communication. I want to give you guys a minute to get here. I asked in my group, Burning Gold, if you guys wanted to learn about becoming better communicators, more conscious, compassionate. And this is going to take some patience on your part, and you're going to have to practice at it because communicating in a conscious way does take work and definitely takes repeating kind of the steps I'm going to teach you. So if you are really serious about this, I suggest that you jot down some notes. Otherwise, come back later and watch this and you can take notes. Hi, Kim. Hi, Sheila. Hi, Bernie. All right. So one of the first things I want to talk to you guys about within that scope of communication, when emotions are heated, when we're triggered, that is the absolute most important time to actually use tools like what I'm going to teach you, a more conscious dialogue process. It's not as easy to do it then, but that's absolutely when we need to. Or if someone you're speaking with is triggered, it helps a lot to offer good listening skills and to validate them and to be very clear with them and for them to be heard. There's nothing worse than communicating with someone that your feelings are hurt or that something's going on with you and then you feel like you weren't heard or you feel like you weren't validated, and then it starts an argument, which whether it's children, a partner, a friend, a family member, even a coworker, a boss, it's really good skill to use. And for those of you who are light workers, it's a skill that is immeasurable in its value at being able to help your clientele. Because so many times in life, we do not feel like people get us or hear us. We feel like they're listening to respond, right? Not listening to actually listen. So the number one thing that you need to do, and I'm going to write these in here for you guys as we go through them, is first, whoever's communicating with you, the number one thing you need to do is listen, and listen without interruption, listen with intention, right? And it's important that you listen because the second step that you're going to do with whoever it is you're communicating with is to mirror back and paraphrase back to them what they said to you. And if you aren't listening, if your head is off someplace, especially with partners, this is true, but I've caught myself doing this with my kids, trying to second guess what they're going to say or what they're going to ask for. Hi, Beverly. Hi, Pamela. But it's always in partnership, right? Your partner says, I need to talk to you, or they're bitching about something and you hear bitching and you're like in your head arguing the point, or you're actually out loud arguing. And that is not conscious dialogue. That's the opposite of conscious dialogue. And that actually causes more problems. So the first thing you're going to do is listen. And then the second thing you're going to do is what we call mirror back. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So the second thing is mirroring back. When you listen to whatever they have to say, and hopefully they didn't go on for 20 minutes, but usually someone will just say, I'm really upset with you because you did. And here's the part, when someone's saying you, and that's not a good way to communicate, but it's not up to you to correct people. Typically they're blaming and projecting because they do actually believe you did something to them. You're not here to fix them. You are not here to correct them. You are here to offer a loving sacred space, a loving sacred container for them to communicate what's going on with them, even if they're in the blame and shame thing and they're pointing their finger. Now, I'm not talking about abusive communication. That's completely different. But you guys know what I'm talking about, especially couples. We start to fight and it's like, well, you said this and blah, blah, blah. And it just goes in this whole thing. But if that person is saying, you did this, you did that, then part of your mirroring back would be to say, so what I hear you say is that I said this and it made you feel this way. And you paraphrase what they said to you. And then you ask a question, which is number 3, is that right? And then you give them a chance to answer whether or not that's right. And here's where your listening skills get tested, because you may through the filters of your own ego, hear what they're saying and totally mutilate it and pervert it. And then you're going to catch where you're not a good listener. So it's conscious, right? It's deliberate. So the person tells you, you said this and that, it hurt my feelings. And then you did this and that, right? Your job is don't personalize it. Don't take it personally. Don't react. Your job is to listen and paraphrase and then repeat it back, mirror it back, and it's not parroting because we don't want to parrot, right? Hi, Oscar. We don't want to parrot. We want to mirror back to them so that we're clear and they're clear that we're clear and we actually heard them. So what I heard you say was, when I said this, it made you feel blank and blah, blah, blah. Is there anything more? And did I get that right? Huge amount of validation in that. If you did not get it right, yes, it's based on the Imago dialogue process, which I use when I counsel couples, teaching and parents, like teaching them how to do the process of conscious dialogue. It is so powerful when you can do it and do it properly and do it right. And now I know one of the questions I'm going to end up getting, so I'm going to answer it ahead of time, right? What if your partner's not good at conscious dialogue? That ain't the point. One of you needs to be good. And since you're watching this, you get to be the one that begins this dialogue process from a conscious place. So you're going to get to the place where you mirror it back and then ask, is that right? And if they say no, then ask them again, can you repeat it or say it slightly different? And then when they tell you, you're going to mirror back again. Okay, so you feel like I hurt your feelings because I did this or I said this. Is that right? And then if they say, yeah, that's right. Okay, well, that makes sense. That makes total sense. Is there anything else? And if not, if there is, you let them go on and you continue listening. And remember, this is a process of listen, paraphrase back, mirror it back, and check and see, did you get it right? Is that right? And is there more? Right? We want to let them complete. So step number 4, is there more? And is there anything else? And then your job is to validate. Whether or not you agree with it, you're going to validate. Makes sense, right? Because it makes sense if you were taking it from their perspective. This isn't a matter of telling someone they're right if they're blaming and shaming you, just that their feelings actually make sense. Because if that is where they're coming from, chances are it makes sense to them. And there's no point in arguing with the way someone feels, which is what puts us into power struggle, right? When we go into power struggle, nobody gets what they want and love leaves the equation. And that's not what we're after. And this does actually work really well with children. You'd be amazed. Okay, so you validate, tell them it makes sense, and then you're going to ask, is there, and this is step 6, is there something I can, and then it's offer, right, to help relieve this. It may be simple, like it may be a simple apology, right? You may just want to say, I'm really sorry that that made you feel that way, okay? You're not taking, and I want to be clear on this because I get when I do these live streams about communication and stuff like that, people come back and say, well, I'm not really sorry because I don't think I did that. What you want to really express to the person that you care about is you are sorry that they feel the way they do. None of us want the other to hurt, especially if you're watching me and you're conscious or you're waking up and you're trying to be a better person. We don't want people to hurt. So of course, we may not agree with what they're saying is causing their discomfort, but it is definitely okay to say, I'm really sorry that you feel this way from what I said or what I did or whatever they said. Okay. And then you offer up, is there something else I can do? Is there something I can do to help relieve this? When we become a sacred container for someone to heal, to be seen, to be heard, when most of the world does not validate them, and I'm sure many of you have felt that sense of invalidation, that nobody hears you, nobody sees you, it makes you really feel isolated and alone and cut off and disconnected and sad. It's a cause of depression on so many levels and anxiety, and it's not necessary. So the more conscious dialoguers we have, the more conscious communicators we have on this planet, the better. Then we can offer healing. Okay. So if they say, I don't know what you can do to relieve this, okay, well, think about it. Now, if you come up with something, please tell me. Okay. And if they say, well, you could blah, 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 then you mirror that back too to make sure you heard it right. So what you're asking me to do, what would help you is if I next time or right now do X, Y, and Z. Is that right? If they say yes, I'd absolutely be willing to do that for you. If it's something you're willing to do, don't lie. You know, some people ask for ridiculous things. Other people, for the most part, they're just wanting you to try to not hurt their feelings again. Don't interrupt me, don't embarrass me, don't humiliate me, right? Like whatever it is, then you offer it, okay? Hopefully, when you get to the point where you can actually create that sort of a communication level, the people in your life will get used to that from you and begin to actually enter a dialogue about the process, okay, of how to do that kind of conscious communication. So for them and you, if you're in a partnership, you can actually follow that process to work through a hardcore issue within your relationship. I'm telling you guys, it works with kids, it works with coworkers, it works with clients brilliantly, it works with partners in an amazing way. And that's the very process that, and it takes me being sort of the reminder and the referee when couples are already in a power struggle, and I do couples counseling with them to get them beyond the issues, right? And to get them to really hear each other and then take turns doing that process. Yes, it takes much longer to communicate that way, but you're actually communicating as a way to resolve things. You're not just communicating because you want, the person to take responsibility for how you feel. Does that make sense? Any questions? It's time that we learn how to become way better at communicating. It really is time that we learn how to validate those people that are in our lives. The more we can understand the triggers of others, the misunderstandings and misconceptions of others based on how they have experienced us, the better chance we have at creating a shift for ourselves and for them. So this sort of a process, it gets us out of that power struggle in a big way. I mean, I've been able to walk through some really hardcore stuff with couples where, cheating, betrayal, lies, and be able to get them beyond it to a place where each person felt finally like they were heard. Because here's the deal. Lying and cheating typically, not always, but typically is not the cause of the breakdown in a relationship. It is a symptom of another cause that brought the partnership there. It's the same way with kids, and it's the same way with parents, and it's the same way with coworkers, right? Hi, Janine. So I hope that helps. I really want to be able to give you guys whatever tools I can that are quick for me to teach you, that are kind of important things for you to have in your tool bag. And this is one of them. I can tell you, when someone listens to me to the point where they can actually mirror back to me what I said, and they're clear and they actually heard me the first time, this is the point. The more you get used to having to listen because you're going to reflect it back to the person, you will get how much more clear you are at listening because you're actually really listening. You don't want someone that you care about to have to repeat themselves 4 times because you were tuned out defending yourself in your head, which is all ego. This kind of a dialogue process, a communication process, actually pulls you away from your ego. You're no longer focused on you. You're in service to the other. You're in service to that person to create that sacred container and hold it and offer a place of love and validation where they may have never felt validated in a talk or a communication with anyone before. Walked from my entire family 14 months ago because of miscommunication. No anger. I'm just done. I hear you. And sometimes that's what's necessary if there is abuse or if there is unresolved conflict and people are just choosing to be unhealthy. But when we're in a relationship, an intimate partnership, or with our children, we do want to communicate well, and with our friends, right? And those of you who are light workers that work with patients and clients, and I do this even when I am working with someone on the level of helping to coach them, right, with their goals. I mirror it back to make sure, okay, so what I'm hearing and what I'm feeling, because part of what people come to me for with counseling is the intuitive part of it, so that they don't have to say everything. People expect me to just know, and it is that place where I let spirit speak through me. But it's good, because then I take notes on what I'm feeling and what they're saying. When they say, yeah, that's exactly how I feel, then I can move forward from there. And it's a really good way to learn how in tune am I? But this isn't a place of, am I right? Or are they right? This is a place of, I'm going to create a sacred space for this person to communicate who they are and what they're feeling right now. And as you do that, they get off their defense. They know that you're not here to fight with them. You remove the power struggle. And when there is no power struggle, love can reign, right? And people can heal. And isn't that what we want within our relationships? And that is why we come together anyways, karmically or otherwise, is to resolve our own internal stuff, the stuff that blinds us and disconnects us from source energy, from our higher selves, and from others. It creates separation. We're trying to bridge that gap. So I hope that helps. Have a blessed day, you guys. Today, I don't know if you guys saw the post I put up this morning. Today is a 10-10 day. So that 10-10 is activated today. It's the 10th of June. It's a 10-day, but you take 6 plus 1 plus 2 plus 1 plus 9, and again, you get a 10. So that 10-10 activation, it is new beginnings with inner gifts. The 0 represents the inner gifts or intuition and whatnot. So it's creation, it's manifestation instantaneously with divine guidance. This is an amazing day. And Jupiter right now is creating an opposition with the sun, which is magnifying, Jupiter's in retrograde, magnifying the effects of Jupiter, which, Jupiter wants to expand. Jupiter wants big. This is a fortunate day, especially when it comes to manifesting. So be on top of your programs, be on top of your stuff. If you haven't checked out any of the programs that I offer to help get beyond the ego, go check out Soul Fast. If you're struggling with your empathic gifts, go check out the Empath Masterclass. And of course, if you just want to do all of it, get into Charm Life, and you will have a plethora, a buffet, and weekly coaching for an entire year. I love you guys. I hope you're having a wonderful day today. I'm going to go get some more work done. I have, now that we're in summer, so this is FYI for any of you who have only been following me for a few months or not quite a year. It's summertime, and here in the US. So we have much more light, which means I don't go to bed until way later. And I typically will change my hours. And while they're not listed differently on Facebook, say, and not always changed on my website, I do offer sessions later at night through the summers, because I do tend to, in the hottest part of the day, take breaks. So then I just extend the hours I work. So if you're looking to do a session with me and you want to do a one-on-one, but it's beyond what I have available, just message me or email me, and we'll see what we can set up for you. And that works too for those of you who are in other time zones like Australia, the UK, Germany, and whatnot. So just message me and we'll hook it up so that it works for both of us. All right. Have a blessed day, you guys. Go use this 10-10 energy and come back and write down some notes so that you can start practicing conscious dialogue and communication with others. I'll see you later.